Hi there folks, my name is Novwing24 and welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator product review, and today we are having a look at a new release from the team over at Backwood Studios of another little quaint little oddity of Oregon aviation, and we are having a look at their recently released rendition of Sutton On Rogue Airport in Oregon. So this is a great little sort of, it continues their look at smaller airports and sort of smaller little slice of life sort of pieces of scenery, which I thoroughly enjoy as a GA and low and slow flyer, and pairs very, very beautifully with their earlier release of an air park scenery, given that it is located just a few nautical miles to the south. But we're going to have a look at this airport today. We're going to have a bit of an exploration of it from both the ground and the sky. But before I get too far into this review, I do want to say a huge shout out and a huge thank you to the team over at Backwood Studios and the team over at Orbx for providing me with the review copy of this scenery today. Alright, so as I said, we're going to be going through and having a look at some of the neat little features of this, and how this really little cool little low-cost scenery, once again from Backwood Studios, continues on with their philosophy of giving us all new and interesting destinations to go and visit. And I really I absolutely loved the previous air park scenery. I thought that was really, really well done, and my impressions of this one so far is that it's another great way. The scenery is another great addition to that same theme, with the fact of providing us with a low impact but high quality scenery that gives us all somewhere to go, somewhere to visit and explore things on the ground level. But while we can sort of zip around with our drone here, I think it is far better to appreciate the work of the scenery team by jumping into something closer to the ground level. So let's jump into Juice Goose and let's go for a quick little drive around the scenery. So we are once again with our little Juice Goose. I think it's this really is a perfect vehicle to go and explore the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I really want to start calling it Microsoft Vehicle Simulator. I really do, because there are so many things available to us now. Anyway, alright, so we've got a few different options here. So obviously I'm starting here from one of the spawn points here. So you do have full aviation fuel services available to you from a vintage little fuel pump over there, as well as a couple of hangars. And for the frantic palm tree aficionados in our community, you do have a couple of helipads available to you as well. But let's go for a drive, because it is more than just it's more than just a couple of hangars and a grass runway. And as we drive out of the corner here, we can see that the runway is definitely somewhat sloped. So I mean, I know we're all used to the Maribel and Courchevel with the way their slope runways are models, but this is in some ways a more regular occurrence for those of us who fly in the real world situations. This is the type of airport, sort of terrain elevation change from one end of the airport to the other that we are probably more likely to see from a GA perspective. Now, this little airport here, Sutton On Rouge, is actually part of a facility, as a part of a horse stud and a part of a active farm. So they have actually modelled as well. We drove past a cow before. It wasn't a flying cow, but it was a cow in the yard here. We've got a bull there that sort of nodded as we went past there. I'm not sure whether we're going to get charged by it or not, but there you go. And we've got a number of livestock sort of giving us life to the scenery. And in fact, not only did they actually just put the livestock in the paddocks, they've actually also modelled the horse stud next door and the farm buildings to actually be able to look after the cattle here as well. So we can actually go for a drive through that as well. So we can actually go and say hello to the horses. I do actually miss horse riding. It's been a hot minute since I've ridden some horses, and I would really like to do that again. Anyway, so you get the feeling of an actual fully working farm here, which is what this site is. So this is and much like rural aviation in Australia, rural aviation in the US is much the same, where often you'll find that to get somewhere quickly, especially for business or anything like that, you do need to operate using aircraft. So having these sort of small private strips available to farms is actually something that is very, very common, something I'm very, very used to, and kind of cool that I've seen modeled here. We've got a sort of trucks there. I wonder if we're going to get a Microsoft truck simulator that sort of ends up blending in with this. That would be kind of cool. I know that a couple of members of our community over the years have sort of talked about how you can actually now sort of start with a, you can start with Truck Simulator. You can start with Euro Truck Simulator, then you can move into Dovetail Games Train Simulator, then you can move into Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then you can pick it up again with American Truck Simulator. So it'd be kind of cool to be able to get all of those things. So not only did they model the airport surrounds, they've actually sort of modeled the roadways as well. So you actually get to it's again one of the things that I like to see from developers when they focus on not just the bare minimum of what they can produce, they actually go outside the airport surrounds, because those things I think sometimes are just as important as the actual airport buildings and modeling as well, because you actually have to get the impression of you are approaching an area where you're going to land, and those visual references are really, really important. And for as I said before, like low altitude GA flyers like myself, seeing the power lines actually correctly marked with the warning bollards is actually a really important thing. But not only is it just like, oh, well, we'll just stick a couple of power poles just immediately on short final. No, they've actually done it into an extended area as well. So it overlays the existing scenery and merges in pretty well with the existing auto gen that is part of this thing. So we're just going to go for a bit of an extended trip down the road here. And this is I feel like this road would belong, I don't know what the roads are like in Oregon, but this road definitely feels like it would belong perfectly well in Michigan, that's for sure, because apparently, as I have learned, Michigan has two seasons. It has winter and it has roadwork season. Apparently, that is the two seasons that Michigan has. We're just going to, as I sort of spin out on the road here, so we're just going to try that again. Okay. See, yeah, this is why I fly and I don't drive in Sims, because apparently my driving is far better in real life than it is in Sims. But anyway, moving on. So as we head back towards the airport here, we'll head back and have another quick look around some of the airport buildings. But it's nice seeing the extra detail here. I know, and this is a very specific target audience here. Like, this is very much not designed for airliner pilots unless you're looking at taking a break from being, driving in the greyhounds of the skies, and you actually want to explore some different parts of the world, which, by the way, I highly recommend that you do. By the way, I do highly recommend that you do. As we come back down here past the runway. So the runway is interesting. It's according to the Air Services navigation databases, both runways are open, but interestingly enough, both comparing it to satellite imagery that I looked up when researching this video, as well as the way it's modeled in the sim, it's modeled accurately that it does have an X on one of the runways. But looking at it, and look, all the AIP data sort of suggests that both runways are open. We've got a historic cottage over there as well, which we'll just go and have a quick visit, which is we're going to make landing interesting as well, considering that the driveway cuts through the middle of the runway. But the kind of aircraft that are probably going to be coming through here probably don't need the full runway available. And we've got the nice use of some 3D modeling inside the buildings there. Everything just looking pretty cool. Like, I do think this is a very low impact scenery. Like, there's not a lot in terms of, it's not like we've got some of the airports that we see, like, the big airports where we've got huge amounts of interior modeling. See, we've got, some interiors modeled here, but this is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a small regional sort of rural airport designed for some different sort of aviation. Now, something that I did want to show off before we get into our aircraft here is we come back towards the hangars here. I just realized that as I was going past the lake here, they actually even animated the waterfall by the rock there. That's kind of cool, and complete with, is that a bird feeder? Nice. Nice. It's little details like that that really bring this to life. Now, of course, airports like this, apart from being important parts of rural and agricultural aviation, are also often home to people's various toys. This is no exception. We've got a few boats available, and we've got a historic car, and we've got a nice log cabin modelled over here as well. And my first officer Fluff is currently inspecting my driving skills here, and he's rather displeased with them. But anyway, and we can park down here in the driveway. Actually, you know what? Let's jump out here and we'll have a look at the historic house and just have a look here because we've got a couple of nice little cabins there. Let's jump out and have a look and grab our drone again. So throwing our drone into the sky here again, we can see that all the larger homes are here with the beautiful riverside views and all done in some pretty good modeling here. So you can just sort of imagine just sort of, kicking back and, being able to, maybe rent one of these places if you didn't, or living here permanently, just being able to kick back, throw a couple of lines into the river there, go for a bit of a cruise, maybe a stand-up paddle, and then kick back in the pool. And I do like I just noticed the nice subtle piece of advertising there from the local resident, obviously a supporter of Backwood Studios. Nice to see that one. All right, well, let's bring our drone back and head back to the hangar, and we can then maybe go for a test flight. We can fly, see what it's like from the air. All right, let's oop. There we go. Just before I go run into turn anybody's house into splinters, head back to the hangars. Now, the team over here at Blackwood Studios as well has also enabled a couple of hangars to actually have remote openings. So we do have 2 hangar positions. In fact, the main aircraft start positions are actually both inside hangars. So we've got a hangar on this side, you've got a wooden hangar over here, and you've got a corrugated iron one over there in front of the helipad. Both of them are fully animated and operational with based on sim factors. So this one here operates with nav lights, and the other one over there operates with strobe lights. So if you activate your nav and your strobe lights, you will actually be able to see the hangars open. So let's switch over from our ground vehicle to something that we can take to the skies in and give that a try. All right, so here we are in the DC Design Stearman to take to the skies over this airport here, and we have spawned in. Yes, we have spawned in the hangar, and I thought it was kind of cool because both of the main spawn points, you do have a fuel spawn point, which is where I started with the Juice Goose, but the 2 other aircraft spawn points are both inside hangars, and I do like the fact that they actually also include the how you open the hangar doors. There's big warning placards once you spawn in. Anyway, I know this is a tech that's around a lot, has been around for a while for many add-on airports, but it's always good to see it and show it off when it's here. All right, but let's, this particular hangar that we're in, we need nav lights on to open. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our nav lights, we're going to put our battery on. My mouse decides to click on, there we go, and we can put our nav lights on. There we go. If I can get the click point to go for, because my mouse is apparently having a moment. There we go, and nav lights go on, and hangar door opens. So I know it's a small thing, but I don't get to see enough of this with airports, and it's great to see that something simple like this is getting included. All right, let's get our aircraft started now that we are all set here. So we're going to go down here. We're going to put our fuel, open our fuel on. We're going to go mixture full rich. We're going to set our mags to on. Keep on there we go, mags to on. And we're going to go pull our primer. And then engine start. Our engine has caught. Perfect. All right, now that we can taxi our way out, we're going to put our avionics on. There we go, and all set. All right, and parking brake released. nice thrumming sound of the Stearman. I haven't flown the Stearman for way too long. It's a fun aeroplane to fly, this one. Alright, as we taxi out into the beautiful Oregon sunshine. Now what I'll do here is, as I line up on the runway here, I'll actually turn my strobes on so you can see the other hangar open up as well. There we go. And there we are, we got the... Oop, I needed to, I didn't idle that high enough. Okay. Forgot that DC Designs actually model that you have to keep it idling at a high enough RPM, otherwise the engine tends to stall on you. But there you go. So that gives you a look. So you can have a look at the other hangar. So both of them are open for us. All right. So let's line up on the grass runway here, with favourable winds, and we'll do a circuit over the field. All right. There we go. Nice and simple. Straight out with our toys. Alright, everything is checked, mixture is full rich, throttle cracked. Alright. Control surface is good. Okay, into the wild blue yonder. I think this aircraft is just the most appropriate because this would be, you know, with crop dusting and sort of maintaining the farming area that we find ourselves in here in Oregon, this would be absolutely an aircraft that we would have. But we have to be mindful of the obstacle of the power lines at the end of the runway there, which, you know, we cleared safely. Maybe a little bit just. And as we orbit here and climb a bit of altitude, we can see the scenery there. As I said, it blends really seamlessly into the surrounding photo reel, and they've done a really good job of blending a lot of the static elements in with the photo reel imagery that it's matched with. So for example, yeah, we've got a number of livestock sort of in the various paddocks just outside the airstrip itself, and what they've done, it's one of the things I like to see. I know I complained at maybe not complained, but just commented on a couple of recent videos where there are elements of the photo reel imagery that developers have used, and they've not put a static on top of it. They've either not cleaned it up to hide it, or they've not at the very least put a static on it to hide it, especially when it comes to like parked aircraft. But the team over here at Blackwood Studios have actually gone through and actually placed on, where there's cows and horses in the satellite imagery, they've actually placed animated models of said cows and horses onto the actual scenery. So it's a nice way to sort of match the two together, and it's again, nice little attention to detail for a nice airport for you to go and visit for something different. Now, I definitely feel that the runway here would be more suited for a uphill landing, but as you can see here, it's interesting that it's got the concrete sort of set there on the top end, but that is also a helipad, so it is actually hardened as a helipad for this one. As we do our downwind here, also set up on the river there. Come here, so you can see that the runway that we're going to be coming in on, I believe it's 25, and it's the one that's got the X on it technically, but we're barnstorming bush pilots, so we are totally going to ignore that, and we are going to land on that runway anyway ourselves. So let me come in for our landing here. Always the challenge of flying aircraft like this, getting the line up right. Side slipping a little too far on that side. Definitely not the worst tail dragger landing that I've ever done. Probably also not the best, but definitely not my worst. Taxi up here, so you can see that landing uphill definitely is a easy thing because you can use gravity to help slow you down. We get to the top here, we've got a couple of horses looking at this strange mechanical bird that's just come in. And you can see the other helipad here at the end of the runway. Alright, well let's taxi back down to the hangars at the end of the runway and give our final thoughts about this neat little new scenery from the team over at Backwood Studios. Alright, now that we've parked up there in front of the second hangar with its detail there, we've got a nice little wooden ramp there heading to the helipad. So, look, what is the Sutton On Rogue Airport from Backwood Studios? It is a great low-cost scenery that is available to the community to give you somewhere different, somewhere new, once again, to fly. I really love these type of airports, pretty much no matter what developer they come from, and the developer, Backwood Studios, is definitely paying a lot of attention to recreating the slice of life. I don't know if slice of life scenery is the right phrase to use for this one, but definitely just something different, something the more likely that most of us are probably more likely to be able to connect to is the type of flying that we would actually do. And for those of us who enjoy low and slow and finding new and different places to explore, this is the kind of scenery that we want. And actually just here I can actually show you what I was talking about during that circuit, where they found where on the satellite imagery that there are cows and bulls, and they have placed animated cows and bulls on said scenery. So I like little touches like that. So as I say, like the team have done a really great job at recreating this slice of the Pacific Northwest countryside and giving you somewhere fun and different to explore. And I think that this is an airport that if you're into that kind of flying and you're into wanting to explore new and different places and looking for maybe a different stop on your tours and your adventures through the Pacific Northwest, this is going to be an airport that you would definitely want to be considering to get. And it also makes a great point as to be able to stop and recharge your juice goose on your journeys throughout the interesting roads of Microsoft Flight Simulator. So with that recommendation, as I said, I do highly recommend it. It was a recommendation, but I do highly recommend it. I think this is a great addition to the Flight Simulator scenery family, and it was come as a highly recommended airport for me, not only just as a place to visit, but as a technical example of some of the other cool things that you can do with the sloped runway technology that we have in this simulator. So for me, definitely coming in as a 5 bags of fertilizer. That's probably bad, isn't it? But definitely five crop dusting airplanes out of 5 for this one. So this is my review, and I do want to say, as I finish that review, thank you once again to the team over at Backwood Studios and the team over at Orbx Direct for providing me with a review copy of this aircraft, of this scenery. And if you do want to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up available at orbxdirect.com, available now. And with that, folks, that does now round out this review. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search Novawing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.